anytime you're prying off the tire, you're good, okay? As soon as you want to put your hand in between the tire to pry off of, stop. You can damage your muscles, tendons, ligaments. I've even heard broken bones, everything else. That's a lot of power and again, some pretty fragile stuff going on in the back of your hands. I know we're pretty strong or whatever, but all it takes is once you screw up your hand, that's our livelihoods. So don't do that. That's where you want the tire tower, okay? Tire tower is going to come with, let's see, you're going to get 7 pieces, okay? You're going to get 2 different heads. That's the part that the rod is actually going to rest on. So this is our original low profile head. And the way that's going to work is the rod is just going to sit right in that groove right there and give you a totally powerful push. It's going to give you flexibility to rock around and everything else. And then our new wide head will work the same exact way with that groove in the middle for a rod. And it'll also work for a flat bar. So that's why we designed that. It's kind of a 2-in-1. So if you're a flat bar guy, you're probably just going to want to use this one all the time. And if you never use flat bars, you probably want to just stick with this one and tuck the other one away. It's up to you. If you go back and forth using both, you know, that's why we put them both in the kit, whatever. So basically I'll show you on the low profile head, the original. So back in my analogy, if you're prying off a tire, you're good. If you got to put your hand there, stop. That's where you're going to grab your tire tower. Okay. It's going to sit right on the edge of the tire. Of the treads on the top, the white walls over here on the side, right on that 45. And believe it or not, it's going to stay right where you put it because it's got some grooves back here and the tire is not a solid surface. So the tire tower is designed to just sink right into that rubber of the tire and it's going to grip it and stay right where you want it. So you always have good leverage. Okay, so if you're working maybe a Honda Civic or something, well, I don't know, a good example, but something that you need a little bit more where you're going to put your hand in there, that's where you're going to go to the low profile head. Then what you can do is start adding extensions to get to exactly the height you need. So you can add 1 extension, you can add 2 extensions, or you can add all 3 extensions if you're working a big truck or something. So, and what I like to do, so I'll show you the fully built up tire tower. And then you're wondering what this little piece is for. This is the hand piece that Daniel Graum designed and helped me bring to market, which makes this just an even better product. What it's going to do is it's going to give you that sensation that you're holding the rod in your hand. So let me get closer so you can see. So I'm holding that hand piece here, again, rounded part down. So it feels like I'm holding a rod in my hand. And then you're just going to rock right off of that. And again, that's just going to be sitting right on the side of the tire. And you're going to be working that truck fender. You can get all kinds of angles, all kinds of movements, because it'll go 360 with you. And you're holding it in your hand. So wherever you have to move for leverage, you've got it. The other places these work wonderful is, let's say you have the you pull the headlight out of a Mercedes and you have that big open cave and nothing to leverage or hook a hanger on or S-hooks or anything. This tire tower is going to go right inside there. I like to set it on a towel just to protect that inner coating on the panel. And you're going to leverage just like that. It's also wonderful in bedsides, everything else. So just very, very versatile. So on a bedside, you're going to be working it just like this. Okay. No, it's not magnetic. That's the question I get asked all the time. It doesn't need to be because it's part of your hand. You're just going to be carrying it around and using it wherever you need to set it down, wherever you need to get leverage. And the force of pushing the rod is going to keep it in place. So that's the tire tower. And again, if you want to use the new deluxe head, you simply just swap them out like that. Now you're good to go. One thing I will mention to you guys is I like to offset the handpiece just a little bit. So that's kind of how I like it. Not a plus sign, but just a little bit off angle. What that's going to let you do is sometimes you're having to really work a weird angle and you don't want that handpiece hitting your rod. So just offsetting it a little bit lets you clear the handpiece. See if I can show you that. So like that, instead of like if you're totally lined up, you might hit that handpiece if you're really having to leverage far. So just putting it a little offset allows you to hold it really comfortably, give you your brain the sensation that your hand's holding the rod like usual, but you're not doing any of the damage to your hand. And that lets you get all over the dent wherever you need to be. Perfect leverage points. So that's the tire tower. I'll take you outside and show you how I actually use it on a car. So again, if I'm working this fender and leveraging off the tire, I'm cool. As soon as I want to put my hand in there to get that little extra lift or whatever, stop. I'm damaging all those tendons, ligaments. Look what my fingers are even doing just from the rod. Okay, you're going to tear your hand all up. That's where the tire tower with just the lowest head is going to come into play. I'm just going to set that there like it's my hand, and I'm just going to leverage off it. Now I've got tons of power. This is actually more powerful than this or that with my hand, because this is spreading the surface area out to that whole tire. And it's just the amount of power and precision you're going to gain using the tire tower is going to blow your mind. You're going to freak out when you see how much easier fenders can be. And again, I can just spin this little head off and put however many extensions and have the other head all ready to go. And again, same thing. I'm just going to, so if this was a big truck, you can imagine, I'm just going to pry right off the side of the tire. I could set it on top, on the side. It doesn't matter where you put it. That power is going to stick right there with it. So I'll show you one more configuration where I leave just one extension, and I'll do the low profile head. So again, completely versatile and fast to change out. I could put the handpiece in there if I wanted to, but I don't really need it here because I got good control with this little one. But it's going to just, you're going to put it right there and just bam. I mean, tons and tons of power. And again, you can work off any part. You can get down here on a truck or something and work that fender. Wherever you need it, it's going to stay. And it's just going to give you so much precision, control, and do a better, faster, cleaner job, easier. You're going to love it. One very last thing that I want to show you guys that some of the hail guys are doing is if you use a tabletop hood stand, you can buy 2 tire towers and stack them together, which will give you the height needed to really work that hood, so that you're not having to use any hangers or S-hooks or any kind of leverage device in those open areas. You can grab your tire tower and just move it right around, and it's going to work right off that tabletop. So again, you just buy 2 tire towers and just stack all the extensions together. It'll give you double the height, which seems to be perfect for the industry standard tabletop hood stands. So I just wanted to share that with you. So one thing I wanted to point out is the new tire tower 2.0 has these holes in there, and people are like, what is that? So I designed it so that you can just stick something in there if they ever get too tight to bind. You don't ever have to tighten it more than hand tight, but sometimes they'll bind even with the O-rings in there. So you can just put any tool or whatever in there and break them apart if that does happen. I even checked, and you can even use a edgy hanger to break them apart. So again, you could put two rods in there and just bust it apart. That's the point of the holes. So you can see what I'm doing there. Just a little leverage. So that's why we added the holes. And we also added wrench slots. So if you wanted to put a wrench on there, and same thing, but don't tighten it. Don't crank it tight with a wrench. You don't need to do that. Hand tight is always sufficient. That's just if it gets locked up. If it binds, then you can break it apart easily. That's why we added those features. Thanks.